Okay.
You're using them as markers to let yourself know you are still on the vibrational path that you prefer to be on at that moment. At that moment. Thus, then, the idea is that whatever the vibration feels like at that moment, that's the vibration to explore. That's where the information lies that you need. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Does that answer your question? It's not a big mystery, you know.
To a degree.
Yes.
So after I started listening to your videos,
yes.
Connecting more to my higher self,
yes.
Listening more,
yes.
How can I connect more to that physically?
Well, are you following the entire formula for acting on your highest joy?
I am, until I have that arrow in the unexpected direction.
Then why isn't that included in the definition of your joy? Why is that made to be an exception?
It's not that it's an exception, it's just that it throws me off.
So what?
You're right. So what?
Isn't that part of the idea of having surprises in life? You don't want your life to be boring, right?
Definitely not.
Well, then welcome the unexpected direction changes. That's what it's all about. Yes?
Yes.
Well, then include it in the definition of your joy. Because you are making it an exception, or it wouldn't throw you off. You would recognize it as a change of direction that serves you. You wouldn't have a question about it at all if you weren't defining it in some way as something different from your joy. You're saying it doesn't belong there somehow. But it does.
Okay. It's just that when I'm led by my emotions,
yes,
it throws me off, and then
but your emotions are there to get in touch with what beliefs generate them. Remember, belief comes first. You cannot have an emotion without believing something to be true first. So if you're having a certain emotion, it's telling you you have a belief that generated this. If you don't prefer the feeling and you don't prefer the belief, find out what you would have to believe is true about yourself in that circumstance in order to generate that feeling. Then change that belief if you don't prefer it.
Okay.
So use the emotion to find out what the belief is.
Okay, I've been working on that.
Well, all right. Then how long will you continue to work on it as opposed to simply using it?
I have used it.
Now and then, yes, but obviously there are times when you don't, or we wouldn't be having this conversation.
You're right.
I know, that's why I said it. So it's only about the times you don't do that that we're focused on, yes?
Yes.
So find out why you're making a difference between the times you use it and the times you don't. Because that's the only reason you don't use it all the time, is because in your definitional belief system, you're making a difference between this situation and that situation.
Okay. Manifestation.
Manifestation is simply the recognition, the ability to see, the ability to perceive what was heretofore invisible to you, but has always been here.
Yes.
And so?
And so I visualize.
Yes. And?
To become that frequency.
And
it doesn't always happen.
Congratulations. Remember when I asked you if you were using the entire formula of excitement? You said yes,
right.
But you just said no.
Okay.
Do you remember the entire formula? This goes for visualization as well. Would you like us to repeat it?
Yes.
Is everyone paying attention? Yes. Act on your highest excitement every moment that you can to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further. Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
With zero assumption, insistence, or expectation as to what the outcome ought to be. Zero.
How do you let go of those expectations?
I'll tell you, thank you. You let go of the expectations by understanding that whatever your physical mind is capable of expecting or whatever your physical mind is capable of visualizing as an outcome falls way short of what your higher mind could actually bring to you. So when you understand that by simply adhering and insisting on the physical mind's interpretation that you're actually limiting the outcome, maybe then you'll stop doing that.
I'll keep telling myself that.
When you believe it, things will change.
I believe it.
Then things will change. Not because you need them to. Remember, you have to decide to be happy for its own sake. You can't decide to be happy because you'll get this if you do. That's called expecting an outcome. That's called putting a condition on it. You're happy because that's the state you prefer, and you don't care what happens. Because whatever happens, by definition, when you're in a positive state, must still serve you in a positive way. So it doesn't matter what happens. Because you understand that the true proof of change is not that the outside world changes. The true proof of change is that you respond differently even if the outside world stays the same. That's how you prove you've changed. And when you prove you have changed, then the outside world knows it's true and will reflect the change. But if you change in order to get the outside effect, you haven't changed because you're still doing it externally instead of internally. And therefore, if you're still doing it with the condition that if you change, the outside must change, the outside reflection knows you haven't changed, and therefore it doesn't.
Okay, can you recap? Just to the part where you're saying that you have to change for yourself and not for the expectation.
There is no other reason to be happy other than that's the state you prefer.
Okay.
Don't create any other reason.
Okay.
And when you don't create other reasons, then everything that is reflective of that happiness will appear in your life. But not because you need it to, because you don't care, because you have simply chosen to be happy for no other reason than that's what you prefer.
Okay, I
it's
have
again
it. No,
like the
no.
idea of looking in a mirror and seeing your reflection frown. If you sit there and go, I will smile when you smile first, you're going to be standing there for a long, long, long time. But if you say to the reflection, you know what, I don't care if you smile back, I'm going to smile because that's what I prefer. Well, then what happens in the reflection? It smiles back because it doesn't have a choice but to reflect what you truly are for its own sake. Not because you need the reflection to smile back, just because you feel like smiling. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, lucidity and dreams.
Dreams.
Yes, dreams.
What about them?
Okay, is there a permission slip to gain more lucidity into my dreams?
Absolutely.
Tell me.
Well, there are many ways to go about it. One technology permission slip that has now been invented on your planet is what is called an REM mask. You wear it while you're sleeping. It generates a flash of light in such a way as to remind you, because the light enters the dream, and the light reminds you that you're dreaming. So then, if you allow yourself to remember that that's what the light means, you'll wake up in the dream. You'll be lucid. And at that moment, you can actually send a signal back to the mask to stop flashing so it doesn't interrupt you. So, look it up. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more. Now one more. Okay, can you tell me about the energy centers in the chakras?
Yes, I can, but not now.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
So earlier this year, I had the experience where I was laying in my bed.
Oh, how exciting.
and feeling like there was a distinct presence at the foot of my bed.
A distinct presence.
That was sort of swaying me back and forth to where I was sort of being pulled out of my body. That's what it felt like. And that's when my mind started traveling to other places and I was experiencing other things.
All right. Well, so far this all sounds pretty normal.
And every time I would come back into my body, I'd go back out again. But the last time it felt like I was being pinned down.
Yes.
And that became very scary for me.
Oh,
so I
all
tried
right.
to wake myself up.
Yes.
Can you help me understand what?
Well, there are
that's
many
about?
things that can be going on there. If you are in that sense, actually allowing yourself to shift out into other dimensions, sometimes the idea is that when you want to stop doing that, you have to throw a switch in the amygdala of your brain to paralyze your body. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because then you are, in some senses, forcing yourself to remain in one particular modality, one particular frequency. Now, there are beings that know how to do this when taking you from one dimension to another, and it can feel like you're being pinned down, so to speak. But it's really just flipping a switch in your amygdala. And this is what happens for most people on your planet also when you dream. Because if that switch didn't paralyze you, you would act out your dreams. This is what happens with sleepwalking. The amygdala switch hasn't gone on. You understand?
I do.
So, there can be many different kinds of experiences you may be having that can trip that switch or give you that paralytic or pinned down feeling.
Okay.
Sometimes it's actually important to do that when transferring from one dimension to another so that the particular frequency you are at when you are frozen, so to speak, will remain the frequency that you're at so that it can be more precisely calibrated what dimension you're going to, instead of simply randomly flying off and finding yourself you know not where.
Okay. Is there anything to be afraid of? 'Cause
No.
It brings up a lot of fear for me.
No. The only thing you are feeling is the idea that when that happens, again, going back to the survival instinct component of your physical mind, it's going into the idea of survival instinct. It's going into fight or flight mode. It's going into the idea that it's being annihilated, that it's being controlled in that sense. You understand?
Yes.
But there is really nothing to fear.
Okay.
Again, remember, anything you will ever discover in the unknown is just more of you.
Right.
Even if you are dealing sometimes with what you would consider to be other entities, other beings, more often than not, those other beings, those other entities are just other versions of you in a different reality. And you're interacting with yourself. So perhaps if you feel that, the way to dispel it would be to say, howdy there. I recognize you. You understand?
I do.
And have a little fun with it. Play with it a little bit and see if that will help you feel a little bit more relaxed. And a little bit more fluid. And a little bit more flexible. And a little bit more in control. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help you?
It does.
And?
I have one more question.
I know.
So in the process of detoxifying the body,
Yes.
I find that many people I help, there's a synthetic sort of orange kind of sulfur residue in the body that sometimes comes from different ant drugs.
Yes.
Do you have any suggestions for how to move this out? Because it's really hard.
What form of detoxification are you utilizing?
Raw foods and herbs.
All right. There's a number of places that have extremely powerful detoxification programs and regimens. We have suggested one that we guided the channel to discover to answer these kinds of questions. Is that what you have been using?
Yes.
All right. And you find that the residue remains?
Yes.
Have you done the full-length detoxification?
Yes, even with people who've been doing it for a long time.
Have you done the Incurables program?
I feel like I'm doing something very similar to the Incurables program.
Such as?
A similar line as American Botanicals, very comprehensive
All right.
line of herbal formulas.
In what way are you still detecting the compound in the body?
The iris reading.
All right. One moment. Up the lemon juice content by a factor of 3 at least.
Okay.
That will help flush it out the rest of the way. It may have to go up to 10 times the amount, but somewhere between 3 and 10 times the lemon juice factor, it will help flush that out.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
At various spots on this planet, there seem to exist gravitational and spatial anomalies. I'm talking about places like the Santa Cruz Mystery Spot, the Oregon Vortex.
Yes.
I'm wondering if you can tell us what this is about.
Well, we mentioned this to some degree a little while ago about the idea that these electromagnetic fields on your planet are always in fluctuation and sometimes can give different values to the geomagnetic field, the electromagnetic field, especially when they overlap or reinforce each other. Look at it as resonance. Look at it as standing waves. Look at it as waves reinforcing or canceling each other, and you'll have a better understanding of why some of these anomalies exist. Because there are certain balance points, shall we say, on your planet, being that it is a kind of a crystalline form, certain nexus points, whereby these overlaps may be reinforced in higher degrees of probability than other places. And thus then you may find that some of these anomalies will happen in those places more likely than others. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Are these anomalies centered at some particular point, say under the ground, or some point that could be located via an experiment?
Yes. Some of your electromagnetic sensors are somewhat sensitive enough to pinpoint these things.
And can you tell us a little bit more about specifically the phenomena that are occurring in these spots? There seems to be an anti-gravity phenomenon, and some people claim they're time shift phenomena as well.
Well, in a sense there are, but remember, time shift phenomenology isn't really anything more than shifting by a greater degree to a parallel reality that's coexistent. Because there really is no such thing as time travel, because everything exists at once. So even when you think you're going into your past, it isn't your past. It's simply another parallel reality that looks like your past.
Okay.
Does that answer the first part?
Yes, it does.
All right.
Yes, it does.
And again, the idea is that there will be shifts in all of these ways. These portals, some of them are stronger than others. Some of them are more connected to other dimensions than others. One very strong portal on your planet is that which you refer to as the Bermuda Triangle. The idea here is that it is a great overlap portal, multidimensional overlap portal. And many different kinds of things can find their way through it. Those that know how to utilize it, those that know how to set up a resonance field in order to utilize it, can navigate in it to different dimensions. Those that may simply have the experience of happening to match a certain resonant frequency within the overall chords or tones of that field may simply find themselves shifted to another dimension without knowing how they got there or how to get back. Some of this can sometimes seem like time displacement. Some of it can sometimes seem like anti-gravity, levitational displacement. Sometimes it can seem like a few other kinds of things as well.
I see. So you're saying it's a sort of dimensional shift that can appear to manifest in various ways.
Yes, because there are always dimensional overlaps. And it depends upon the resonance and the overlapping harmonics of the different kinds of energy fields that determines exactly how that portal is experienced. It's like a switching track in a sense. It's always fluctuating in terms of its direction, in terms of what it's connected to, in terms of what it's anchored to a great degree. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Right.
It's really more like music than anything else. There are places where everything harmonizes and there are places where things are discordant. It's sort of like that, although that's an oversimplified definition. And sometimes it will change because these things are always fluctuating. When you can map them and understand them, you can learn to use them navigationally or in a variety of ways. You could, by finding the right frequency in the Bermuda Triangle, create what might be kind of a crystalline looking glass device. This crystalline looking glass device, when pitched to the right frequency in that particular portal area, or a few other portals around your planet, would actually allow you to see images from parallel realities, including what you would think of as your past or your future, even though they are simultaneously concurrent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, one moment. There will be a number of overlapping frequencies that would be required to be infused into this crystalline form in order for it to function that way, in order for it to randomly key itself into the vibrational resonance patterns of that portal in such a manner as to be guided or directed in the way that we are speaking of. You can begin with the earth vibration, not only of 7.5 to 7.8 cycles per second, but also the vibration of C sharp. And if you begin to explore there and have sensitive enough equipment with the right constitution of crystal window, and maybe even what you would call the liquid crystal windows, so to speak, might be capable of doing this if you fluctuate them at the right frequency, you'll begin to see forms forming, shadows forming in these windows at the proper pitch, at the proper resonance, that will be indications of consciousness expressing itself in other dimensions. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Does this help you?
Yes. May I ask a related question?
Yes.
In Peru, there are various artifacts that appear to be gateways carved in blocks of solid stone.
Yes.
Can you tell us what these are about?
Well, there are different types. Some of them were to some degree what we're talking about, but in a different way. These gateways, when carved in a certain proportion, out of a certain mineral, contained a certain resonance that allowed people who knew how to match that frequency to be able to become what you would call clairvoyant, to see into other realities. Clairsentient. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
So in that sense, it was a similar idea, but it happened within the person, not within a device, other than the fact that the doorway itself surrounded them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that help you?
It does. May I ask, is there a particular modality that one could use to activate one of these devices?
If the device, you're talking about the doorways?
Yes.
If the device is still intact, or can be made to be intact, or a new device, a new doorway carved that contains all of the proper proportions and ratios, then again the idea of meditation in that space and also aligning with the gamma frequency can perhaps begin this process again. At the same time, there is another such device referred to in your language as the psychomantium. Are you familiar with this?
No, I'm not.
The psychomantium, in a sense, allows you to peer into the etheric realm of spirit, or to train you to become more sensitive to it, sitting in a room, perhaps a small room or a small space, with a mirror pointing at a blank wall so that you see nothing in the mirror at all but the blank wall. Not your reflection, not anything else. And having no light but a single candle. And then just gazing into the mirror. This is a form of scrying, a form of crystal gazing, but it is one that is profoundly connected to the vibrations within you that are connected to the spirit realm. So if you create the psychomantium in that sense, you can train yourself to see spirits in the mirror. That's another such permission slip device. Mm-hmm. All right?
All right, thank you.
Does this help you?
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Good day to you too. I have a couple questions.
Yes.
One of them is related with today's topic, the parallelogram.
Yes.
After I heard your speech, your explanation, I thought I understood. Then I was at the table having lunch with another friend.
Yes.
And then I realized that I was more confused than before.
Oh, congratulations.
Welcome to the team.
Oh.
So I'm going to tell you what kind of understood, and please help me to understand better.
Or you could simply tell us what you're confused about.
Well, it works both ways.
All right.
Okay, good. What I understood is this: it's some sort of a parallel life that works together, and everything happened at the same time, and somehow we are at the center of it. And by the fact of focusing on something, we can shift that reality. And by that fact, instead of being parallel, then they intersect somewhere in the line.
I understand how you're describing this, but that doesn't negate the fact that there's still parallel realities. It's more like the idea that your consciousness shifts to another parallel reality. The consciousness itself is the intersection, not the parallel realities themselves.
Oh, that makes more sense. So
Yes,
then
it
the
does.
parallel part is not outside of us. It's more like let's call it
The
inside of
structure
it.
never changes. Your perspective of it changes, and the perspective shift is the intersection between the parallel realities. Parallel realities themselves never intersect. They always are parallel.
So if following that thought, if I am living this kind of a parallel reality, I'm going to be living in a linear way the next, like 1 year from now, another parallel reality. So in both times, let's call it like that, in both times, I am living the same parallel reality.
No.
The same consciousness.
No. You're
Great.
not living the same parallel reality billions of times per second. You're shifting. Parallel reality, billions of times per second. That's what creates the side effect you call time and space, is that your consciousness is shifting through all those parallel realities, which are each frozen like a snapshot. There's no movement, no time, no space, no experience in any parallel reality. It's what you're doing by shifting your consciousness through a series of parallel realities that creates the idea of a parallel reality timeline. But you're actually going like this. Even though it seems like you're going like this, you're actually going like this.
That's the frame that I couldn't get. So the center of it is our consciousness.
Yes. And it averages out and creates a sense of continuity to give you a sense of linearity, but it's anything but linear. You're all over the map.
And how does it work when I change my physical reality to the non-physical reality? Am I still living the parallel?
There is still some degree of that, but not as much. There are certain factors that drop away that are no longer necessary. Thus, then, you can experience more parallel realities simultaneously.
So then the parallel reality is more related to this earth life rather than the ethereal life?
It doesn't have to be.
I know it doesn't have to be, but does it work like that?
It can, if that's your focus, yes.
So then I can be focused in this reality as well as in my non-physical reality. So then blending both of them, I'm going to be in both places at once, or
Well, you are in both places at once.
No, yeah, but when I realize when I don't exist anymore in this earthly life, so then I'm going to be just in one. I'm supposed to.
That's just your perspective. The body will always exist. The life will always exist because everything that exists always exists. You have to, again, look at this as frozen snapshots. If you take a photograph of yourself right now, and you put that photograph on a table.
Just like the lunch.
Yes. And then you take another photograph of yourself tomorrow and put that photograph on the table. Did the photograph from yesterday disappear? No, it's still on the table. All the photos exist at the same time. They don't go away. Ceasing to exist doesn't mean that the structure changes. What you're calling ceasing to exist is just changing your focus. But just because you've changed your focus to the non-physical photographs doesn't mean the physical photographs have gone away. They still exist. It's just that you're not focused through them anymore.
Interesting.
Make sense?
Now it makes more sense.
All right.
Way before. That's good. Thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
I have another question that
Yes.
it might not be related with this.
Oh, all right.
We might. So anyway,
We
I
will see.
heard many times the concept of being grounded, right? When we are thinking something and we're trying to figure out what to do, the first call is you gotta be grounded, you gotta be smart, you gotta take it easy, and things like that.
Oh, all right.
So that makes sense, right?
In some senses, yes.
All right. So kind of extrapolating this idea to the ethereal part, is it possible to have some sort of a ethereal grounding?
There always needs to be grounding so that you can bring the energy of your connection to the higher non-physical mind down to earth in order to have an experience, if that's where you want to focus it. Without the grounding part, you haven't made, in a sense, a connection. You haven't made a link It's like electricity. If there is a short circuit, you're not going to have an effect. So you have to ground the wire and bring the energy through all the way through the physical material idea if that's where you want to experience the effect of it. But what you're doing is connecting and linking to the non-physical part, and you're, in a sense, having an experience that's a blending of the two. But you have to have the grounding side, otherwise it just remains an ethereal idea.
So then both groundings are connected. The earth life, the life that I'm living now,
yes,
gotta be grounded with the other part of me that is somewhere ethereal, non-physical, gotta be grounded. And by the fact of connecting or linking both of them, then the balance, at the end, I believe that is what is going to be, the balance in between both, call it both worlds, the earthy one and non-physical one,
yes,
tends to be balanced.
Yes.
Is that the whole concept?
Yes.
Kind of a complicated.
Not really, it's very simple. You have the higher mind, you have the physical mind, you have the template reality in the middle. When you allow yourself to function as a whole person, you are in balance with the physical mind and the higher mind, using the template level reality to shift yourself in the direction of your highest joy.
That sounds great. So
it's very simple.
So that means when I am in this earthly life, or whoever, I'm going to call it about myself,
yes,
not so grounded, this is a question, am I producing something on my non-physical part that is also needs some ethereal grounding?
No. The definition of the higher mind is that it is already stable unto itself. It's giving guidance to the physical mind to stabilize it, to allow it to experience what it needs to experience in a certain way. Look at this analogy. The analogy we've often give of a diver diving into the ocean. Mm-hmm. When you're standing on the boat, you're the higher mind. Now you want to project down into physical reality. So you put on the diving mask, you put on the wetsuit, you put on the air tanks, you put on the flippers. You go diving into the ocean. You dive into physical reality. You need the physical mind, the ego structure, the mask, in order to see clearly in that reality. And thus then you have grounded your experience as a higher mind in that reality. But the idea is to do it in a balanced way. You don't expect that diving mask to do anything but paint a clear picture for you. You don't give it any other tasks to do. You don't tell the mask to breathe for you. You don't tell the mask to push you through the water. That's the job of other things. So just letting the mask be the mask lets the mask do its job. And if the mask does its job, you have a very clear view under the ocean of all the fish that you would like to see. When you are done with that, you go back up to the boat, you take the mask off, you take the wetsuit off. That's like the idea of dying. You have no need anymore for that physical mind, but you still have the higher mind, which is, in a sense, from that perspective now, your whole identity. But because the higher mind has given itself the challenge, shall we say, the experience, the theme of exploration, to have this physical incarnation experience, it has created a duality within itself of the version of it that's on the boat and the version of it that's underwater. But both are there at the same time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense.
All right.
And I will hear the recordings to make sure that it's going to be there forever.
All right. That's your grounding way of balancing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's easy to forget.
If you say so. Remember, that's just a belief that it's easy to forget. When you know something to be true, you never forget it, because knowing and action are synonymous. It becomes part of your behavior. It becomes part of your makeup. What you know to be true, you just do. You don't have to think about it. I ask you to walk across the room. You just walk across the room because you know you can. You don't go, well, let's see. I'm going to think, now, can I walk across? Well, I don't know if I believe I can walk across the... Well, let me think about that. No, you just do it because you know you can do it. That's the idea of the balance point. The higher mind and the physical mind in balance is what you know to be true, you just do. It's one thing, it's one act. Inseparable.
Yeah, I got that one right.
Oh, all right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no more chance for another question. Did they take you by, or
no more
did I have chance? Yeah, no more chance to ask you another simple question.
Are we rolling dice? Are you flipping a coin?
Sometimes I am.
Would you like to take a coin out and flip it?
I would like to ask the question.
Oh, well, all right. Then you have taken it out of the realm of chance.
That means yes?
That means yes.
Okay, good. This is out of this context. I had some sort of, I'm going to put it in these words, some sort of a dream. And if it's and I'm not so expert in colors and things like that, But in that particular dream,
Yes.
I saw some sort of a purple rays or lights, big beams of color,
Yes.
projecting out of let's call it in the space or somewhere.
Yes.
And they were kind of embracing with the red and making some sort of a swirls in the black space.
Yes.
And at the same time, in the middle of it, some white light joined to it.
Yes.
And it's kind of a confusing dream. And in the middle of it, I saw more like the birth of the planets.
Yes.
And it was the blending of not exactly, the color was the projection of the huge, giant amount of energy.
Yes.
And the result of it was the planet.
Yes.
I know it was a dream, but
Well, the
that
dream
can be
is simply
possible.
a memory of an experience on another level. So what you were experiencing was what you might call the etheric level and the causal level. The idea that everything that happens in physical reality has to have an energy version first, an energy template first. So you were looking at the pure raw energy states, the vibrational states that ultimately manifested in the physical template of your physical reality, of the planet.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you. Pleasant dreams.
I'm wondering, aside from parallel lives, is it possible to have simultaneous physical realities in the same time frame or time-space point?
This is what is called counterparts that we were discussing a few moments ago, yes.
Okay, and how many of those can you have? Is there a
It
limit?
depends
or-
upon how you are arranging yourself and what themes you are exploring.
Okay. I was under the understanding that you can't actually, I mean,
Let me put it
technically.
to you this way. You can do the math, all right?
Okay.
Of the approximately 7 billion people on your planet as physical individuals, there are only about 350,000 to 400,000 oversouls.
Okay.
So do the math.
Right. Right.
That's an average. It fluctuates a bit, but that's an average.
Okay. And I was under the understanding that you, if you had a counterpart, that you wouldn't actually ever meet them.
It depends. Sometimes you might, sometimes you might not. It depends upon the themes you're exploring and how it would serve you to meet or not meet them. And sometimes you may run into a counterpart and fall in love with them, and sometimes you may hate their guts.
Okay.
Now, I'm being a little euphemistic because I certainly don't promote that idea. But nevertheless, knowing how you humans operate, you may simply find that you don't prefer some of your own counterparts. And that vibration may simply be for the purpose of keeping you apart. You understand?
Yes. Okay. Do I have any counterparts?
Yes.
How many? 5. And they're all still living at this time?
That's why I gave you that answer.
5.
If they were not still living, they wouldn't be counterparts.
I feel like I experienced one of them passing in the last
Sometimes
year.
that happens.
What,
As you say, ships in the night.
okay. So that is in fact what that,
Yes.
okay.
Sometimes you will sense it, sometimes you will not.
Okay. Thank
Does
you.
that help you?
That does help me. Thank you.
Why, thank you.
I have one more question.
Oh, all right.
For most of my life, I have had vivid dreams,
Yes.
many of them with different types of UFOs.
Oh, all
and
right.
I find that the transitioning back
Yes.
is very difficult to physically awake.
Oh, all right.
And I'm,
That's because your physical reality is so much more dense.
yeah.
And
Okay.
therefore, you are attempting to insert yourself and lower your vibration again to match that physical dense reality. So it can feel a little thick, yes.
Okay.
Can be like trying to push through molasses, yes.
Is there a way that I could continue to have these adventures and vivid memories of my dreams
Of course.
while still waking up feeling
Yes.
not so exhausted?
It requires that you allow yourself a higher degree of lucidity in the dream. Because once you allow a higher degree of lucidity in the dream, you can recognize that you can allow a higher degree of lucidity in physical life. And that can allow you to, shall we say, control the vibration of the physical reality in a way to make it more compatible with your reinsertion. Does that help you?
Yes.
Let us explain very clearly that this is actually what our civilization has done. As we have said, when the soul decides to have an incarnation, and I'm speaking euphemistically here, symbolically in a sense, but there's some reality to it, vibrationally speaking, energetically speaking, the idea of the soul is that it splits itself into the higher mind and the physical mind. And those two together in balance, in harmony, form the whole person that will have the experience of that incarnation. The higher mind remaining non-physical to guide the physical mind in that sense, like someone standing on the mountaintop so that it can give a broad view perspective to the physical mind down in the valley so it won't fall into so many holes because it can't really see where it's going. In between the two is what we call the template level reality, the actual place where the soul and the higher mind create the blueprint, lay out the blueprint for the themes you will explore, literally construct, in a sense, the physical reality blueprint of what will manifest in your physical life. Mm-hmm. When you go into a dream state, you're going, in a sense, to the template level reality. And if you are lucid in it and understand that you're awake in the dream, then you can actually use the template level blueprint to rearrange and reorganize the physical reality that you reinsert yourself back into. So the more lucidly you are in that state, the more lucid, in a sense, you can make your physical reality, or at least more in alignment with the lucidity you're having in the dream state. And again, this is what our civilization has done, because once we allowed ourselves to understand how to become truly lucid in the dream state, we never went back. We simply, from there, altered the physical reality blueprint to become more aligned with that state of dream lucidity, and therefore we are always asleep and always awake, and that's why we never sleep. We live in the dream, and that is our reality. It's totally lucid. Does that make sense to you?
That's fantastic.
So the more you can gain lucidity in your dream by whatever variety of permission slips and techniques may be available to you on your planet, of which there are many, the more you'll be able to create physical reality, since physical reality is also just a dream, to become more lucid and match the vibration of the dream lucidity and create less and less and less difference between the two until they, in a sense, become one reality. Does that help you?
That does help me.
Pleasant dream.
Thank you. And I have another question about the amount of UFOs that actually are in my dreams.
Yes.
Could you explain what's going on there?
Please understand that there are many comings and goings and many different dimensions in which different beings are traveling in a variety of ways. Most of this is simply invisible to you, but when you expand your senses, suddenly you realize that there's all this activity going on all the time. You suddenly realize that you have, for most of your life, actually been living under an airport. It's just that you haven't been able to see the planes. Mm-hmm. Now, as you expand your senses, you suddenly realize all the traffic that actually exists in the area that you're in. Mm-hmm. Understand?
Yes.
So it's not necessarily that there has been more activity, there's just more awareness on your part of the activity that's always been there.
Okay.
Does that help?
It does. Usually in the dreams, my initial reaction is excitement.
Yes.
And then when it comes...
Followed by what?
With fear. It
About
comes
what?
to me more directly after the initial viewing of it and
Yes.
the excitement. It comes to me directly,
Yes.
and then I completely freak out.
Because?
I
What
don't
are you afraid
know.
of?
I'm not sure.
Yes, you are. Can't lie to us. No fibbing allowed. Of course you are. It's very easy to find out what you are afraid of by giving in to the fear, by asking the question, by magnifying and amplifying it. If I gave in to this vibration, if I truly recognized this reality, if I allowed myself to truly become who I prefer to be, what am I afraid is the worst, most terrifying, most horrifying, fearful thing I am afraid might happen? And when you're willing to hear the answer, you'll know why you're afraid.
Okay.
But the idea is that whenever you find out what that fear is, it's not something that will ever be actually empirically true about you. It will only reveal a belief you have about yourself that can be changed. Because there is nothing to fear. The only thing, I guarantee you, the only thing you will ever discover in the unknown is more of you. Because you fill everything in your reality. Mm-hmm. It's just that there are parts of yourself you don't know yet, you haven't met yet. But you will discover them, and there's no need to fear them. Does that help?
Yes.
All right.
Am I a hybrid?
All of you are hybridized to one degree or another. That's what a human is. Remember, because there was an early, naturally evolved hominid on your planet that was genetically altered by extraterrestrial races to become Homo sapien, you're all hybridized. The branches of the original hominid that were not hybridized continue to evolve. You now know them today as Sasquatch. If you had never been hybridized, you would all be Sasquatch. That was the natural evolutionary form on Earth. And it continued to evolve right alongside of you. However, they evolved so closely with nature, so intuitively with nature, so in connection with nature, they can actually go from one dimension to another like walking through a door, and that's why they're hard to find. Mm-hmm. But that's the natural denizen, that's the original inhabitant of Earth. You, in a sense, are an alteration. You're a hybridization of that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I feel like the fear that comes over me in the dream is the connection that I have directly with these UFOs and these
But why would
beings.
that be something to fear?
Well, because I would have to face it and accept it and
why would that
own
be
it.
difficult?
I think it's...
I have a great connection.
Yes.
And I love it.
And I love listening to it.
Why don't you love being it or having it?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You'll find out that you know when you are willing to ask the question. What am I afraid will happen if I acknowledge the connection?
I'm afraid of being seen that way.
By whom?
Others, the world. I don't know.
Who cares?
Well, right.
Who cares?
I agree.
The
to some
ones that
extent.
would see and understand it will understand it. The ones that would see and not understand it will never understand it. So what do you care?
Yes.
Why are you measuring yourself against others? You have absolutely no business comparing yourself to anyone else because you are absolutely unlike anyone else. All of you are. You actually have not only no business comparing yourself to anyone else, you actually have no capability of comparing yourself to anyone else because you're all unique.
Yes.
I understand you have some degree of similarity, but that's it. You're never going to be exactly like anyone else. So there is absolutely nothing anyone else could say that is in any way, shape, or form relevant to you except what you believe is relevant to you. And the only reason you would be afraid of what others think is because you know that all they're doing is reflecting what you already think of yourself. So if you don't prefer the things you think of yourself, change that. And when you change what you think of yourself, you will not give a whit what other people think of you. You can always use guidance to make sure that other people are reflecting things to you that you could use as information to keep yourself on track. I'm not saying you have to ignore everyone and not listen to them, because they may be saying things that are wisdom for you. But it's up to you to decide what's true for you and what's not. Totally. Make sense?
Absolutely.
So again, no matter what anyone says, when you allow yourself to be who you are, thank them for offering you a different perspective. It's just not a perspective that you feel like agreeing with today. But they are totally entitled to their perspective because you would never disallow or invalidate what they perceive to be true. Because if you invalidate them, why should they validate you?
Yes.
But again, the irony and the paradox is you don't need them to validate you. And by not needing them to validate you, you are capable of validating yourself and everyone else, no matter how different their perspective of you might be from your own. Do you see the paradox here?
Yes,
Do you see how to use the power of the paradox in this?
I do.
Does this help you?
Very much so.
Why, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there another person whose name?
Hi, Bashar.
And are you good day?
I'd like to ask, we're all trying to figure out what
You are all what?
we're all trying to
You
figure
are all what? We are selectively deaf to certain words. Trying is one of them.
we are working
You're either
on
doing something or you're not.
we are working on
Yes?
figuring out what our reality is.
You are figuring out what your reality is
and
in your own way. You're not working on it. You're not trying to work on it. You're figuring it out in your own way.
and that's where I could use some help.
All right. What help would you like?
Well, I understand the concept of parallel reality.
Are you sure?
It's kind of a new concept for me.
All right, and you understand it just like that. Congratulations.
But I could use some additional help.
In what way?
I just stumbled into some information on the history of the human race,
Yes.
the starting from the beginning,
Yes.
how Earth was formed and what it was originally intended for, and I'm trying to discern, is that real reality or is that my reality?
All realities are real. The question is not, are the realities real? Anything you can imagine is somehow, in some way, shape, or form, a real experience because you can't imagine non-existence. It's not possible. So anything you can imagine has some relevance and some reality somewhere. The question isn't, is it real? The question is it relevant for you? And you are the one to decide whether it is or not. Because if you shift, as you do, all of you, billions of times per second from parallel reality to parallel reality to parallel reality, you are shifting from one version of Earth to another, 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 constantly in order to create the side effect you call space and time. So at any moment, you're actually on a different Earth with a different history. You decide by your vibration which version of Earth you will experience. So if one version doesn't seem to have a lot of relevance to you, one history doesn't seem to be relevant to you, then allow yourself to know that another version probably is more relevant to you. It's not that they're not all true, it's just that you are allowing yourself to experience whichever one is relevant for the themes you chose to explore. But all of them are true. Does that help? Or did that just confuse you even more?
Well, I could probably use some clarification. The information I have is that this is regarding the Anunnakis.
Yes.
And I don't choose to have that reality, but I'm experiencing.
Well, obviously, in some senses you do, or you wouldn't be where you are.
Okay, got it. I'll
All
figure
right.
that part out.
But you can choose your relationship to that idea in a way that only benefits you in positive ways, yes?
Yes.
So, then if you know that you can always choose a version that benefits you in positive ways, why worry about what other versions there may be if they have nothing to do with you?
I actually don't think there's any other version because I've only stumbled into one version.
There is no just one version. There are an infinite number of versions of everything you can imagine. You will gravitate to the one that is most in alignment with your particular chosen vibration based on your belief systems. Simple as that. That doesn't mean the other ones don't exist,
Okay.
but you only experience the one at any given moment that's relevant for you, and that's why it seems like there's only one. Remember, every belief system is structured to make it seem as if no other belief is possible. If that were not true, you wouldn't be able to have an experience in physical reality. Yes?
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yes, it
All
does.
right. So,
So I have a lot of sorting out to do.
Well, all right, that sounds like fun.
I hope
It will
it
become
is.
clearer as you understand the concept.
Okay. I have a question regarding dreams.
Yes.
I don't have dreams.
Yes, you do.
I don't remember them.
All right.
Are they really necessary to remember?
No,
Okay. Great.
they are only necessary to have.
Why is that?
Because when you go into dream, because of your definitions of physical reality, making it seem as if you're disconnected from the spirit self, you go into the dream state to shut down the physical mind so you can reconnect consciously to the idea of your greater self and recharge yourself. And without that, without dreaming, you would actually go into psychotic shock because you're relying totally on the physical mind, which cannot exist on its own. It has to connect, it has to connect, it has to connect to the higher mind somehow in consciousness. And therefore, when you're not connecting consciously in your daily life, you will connect unconsciously in your dream state in order to maintain the balance of your total being. Because without the idea of making that connection, you are not functioning as a whole being. The physical mind by itself is literally a half-wit.
Is it necessarily to consciously remember your dreams? I mean, if we've already hooked on
No, as I
unconscious-
just said, as long as you have an unconscious connection, that will suffice. Sometimes it might be necessary to remember certain things if it serves the theme you're exploring, but you don't necessarily have to remember them all.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yeah, yes, it does.
All right, well, pleasant dreams to you, if
I'm
you
sure
remember
will
them.
be. Yes. And then I also wanted to find out, there's a lot of people that are trying to connect with their past lives,
All lives exist simultaneously.
the lives that are called past lives.
I know what you meant.
How can you give us some tools on how to connect with these lives?
You're already connected. You're already receiving information and downloads from all the experiences of the ones that are relevant to the life you've chosen here. So it's not about how do I connect, it's how do you have more awareness that you're already connected. That's a big difference. When you understand you're already connected, that fact alone, if it actually is perceived by you as a fact, will or perhaps can make all the difference in your experience of those connections. Because if you know you're already connected and you take that for granted, then you don't have to try to connect. Trying to connect implies that you believe you're not connected. Knowing you're already connected gives you a head start, and thus then makes it easier for you to perceive the connections that are already there instead of believing you have to do something that you don't know how to do already. Big difference.
I guess my question would be then, how do I recognize that I'm already connected?
I just told you.
I'm
Do you
sorry.
understand that everything exists all at once?
Yes.
Do you? If you really understand the concept that everything is actually here and now, then the real question is, how can you not know that you're connected? If you don't know that you're connected, then you don't really understand that everything is one and here and now. Because with a true understanding of that, it automatically is understood that everything is connected. Why? Because everything is the same one thing from a different point of view. So if everything is the same one thing, how can it actually be disconnected? There is only one thing in existence. Only one. There's only one moment in existence. Only one. What you perceive as different moments are the same moment from a different point of view. So it's not even that you have separate things that are connected. There is only one thing. Therefore, connection is built in. Because every apparently different thing is just an appearance of difference. It doesn't actually different. It's just the appearance of difference. It's just the experience of difference. But mechanically speaking, there is only one thing. That's it.
Is there a way for me to, I guess, some tools where I could...
I just gave you a very powerful one.
I'm sorry, I'm missing it.
Yes, you are. There is no such thing as being actually separate. There is the illusion of separateness, the experience of separateness, but there is no such thing mechanically as actually being separate. There is only one thing in existence, and that's it. And you are that thing. And you are that thing. And you are that thing. You are all the same thing from a different point of view. It's just reflections, different looking reflections of the same thing seeing itself in all the ways that it can. So if you understand that what appears to be different people are actually the same being, how can it not be connected? There's only one being. What is there else to connect to? Nothing. Everything is within you. There is no outside. Is this making more sense?
Not really, but if I can
Yes.
give an example.
By all means.
So let's say all of a sudden I'm by a swimming pool and I'm taking my first beginner swimming class,
Yes.
and all of a sudden I get really scared and I don't want to go in the water.
Yes.
I've never had any water experience, so I don't understand why I'm afraid. So would it be safe to say that that fear of water may be something that is from one of my other selves?
It might be, but it doesn't have to be. The fear of water may connect symbolically to some fear you have in your definitional system in this life too. Even if it's not literally a fear of water, the water may symbolically represent something you are afraid of. Many of you already know, psychologically speaking, that water is symbolically representative of emotion. So the idea may be that you have a fear within you or a fear of some emotion within you that the water simply symbolizes. And it could be many other things. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis.
Can you expand on your comment, water is symbolically representative of emotion?
Well, this is simply what comes up in your natural psychological experiences, in what you call your psychological information. The idea of emotion, energy in motion. Emotion is fluid. Thus it is symbolized with the idea of water, diving deep down into your emotionalities, like sinking under the surface of the sea or a pool. It's like allowing yourself to be immersed in the idea of your consciousness. And this has feeling components to it. And thus it has emotional components to it. It's like being immersed, like a child, in the amniotic fluid. And feeling the idea of the support and the unconditional love of the mother. Or feeling the fear of the mother. So it could even come from that. Going into a pool could be reminiscent of being in the amniotic fluid and feeling the fear of your own mother before you were born. It could be many things. You have to find out what it is for you by exploring your belief systems about why you have fear. And then the answer will come. The idea will come. It will show you. The synchronicity in your life will show you what the connection is. All right?
Okay,
But you have to be willing to explore that and not be afraid to explore it.
great, thank you.
You have to swim in that water. All right?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
It's about 12:26. If we want, we can have another 10 or 15 minutes if you want to continue, or if you'd rather break for lunch, Tadeo.
It is our perception that the majority of individuals in your chamber require sustenance. Thus then, you may take your lunch break. We will resume this transmission after your break. How's it going?
Very good. Thank you, Daryl.